Hi, welcome to Tim and Nick Chats. What we like to do is exchange questions on current events in our life, relationships, and all. And we see who goes first by the flip of a coin. So my wife Nicole is going to call it
Heads.
and see who asks the first question.
So, what's this shit?
Male domination.
That's not happening.
And arm. I'm feeling intimidated and belittled.
As you should.
Thank you. My self-esteem is plunging. How do you like that?
Tails, you're first.
Yes. Finally. All right. Here is my question, dear.
Okay.
Lately, we've been doing a very good job of watching our expenses and having more conversations about budgeting.
Yep.
I compliment you.
Thank you.
What would we tell young couples growing up now about having these budgeting talks, but doing them much earlier in our marriage, and just to keep that solid financial footing so that that doesn't become part of the interpersonal conflict? You know what I mean? So what would you suggest to young couples as they're watching their spending and their saving and all?
Well, I know there's a lot of information out there on like figuring out, basically what money means to you and what is important to spend it on. I know you and I have done a couple of those things in the past, kind of getting clear on like, I'm more of the spender. Tim's more of the saver. We've discovered this a long time ago. I think that sometimes you have a personality who wants the immediate gratification of life. Sometimes you have the personality that wants to save for the future. And so I think you have to get clear on where everybody is. But you also, I think what's really important is having a plan and knowing what you want to do. What age do you really want to retire? Do you want to just work until you die, or do you want to be able to actually completely and totally retire? Or like where do you want to be? And I think a lot of couples don't want to have these conversations because it's around money, and money is such a touchy subject. Yet if you don't get clear where you're at and where you're coming from, then it could be an issue. That being said, the number one thing I would say is, like, from the moment you start working, I'm talking to like babies now. The moment you make any money of any kind, grandma sends you $50 for your birthday, put 25 in the bank and don't touch it. Because if you would actually live on 50% of what you make, you could retire. And I'm sure many people could relate to the fact that I wish we had done that. I wish we were that disciplined. But that being said, I appreciate what you said, because we're being very good these days. And like, how can we, what really matters? I think one of the big issues is we live in a society that's incredibly consumeristic. And until you step back from it, you don't really see how much consumerism is in your face constantly. And so you got to sort of step away from that if you're the buyer or the shopper, or that, So
Very good. And it's a joint venture.
100%. You have to communicate. You have to know what each person's, I had to relate to him and say, okay, he's the saver. So how do we come to an even ground on that, so that money's not an issue that we're always fighting about? Because that's like the number one thing that couples fight about is money.
True.
And I think it's kind of interesting, because I think a lot of people fight about money because it's such a big fear point for people. So if you're clear on what each person sees money as and what it represents, it just makes your life a lot easier and your relationship a lot easier. And you can avoid some of those fights.
Well done.
Yeah. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. My turn?
Yes. I always love this part.
You're going to like this one.
Oh, okay, good.
So look at his whole attitude changes. He's all in like fear mode now. He's like, okay, what? So we were talking to a couple of friends of ours a couple of weeks ago, and you were saying how you admire people that are such great fans of like sports teams and things, and because they have that sort of, what I think you call the fanatical. I don't know if that's the right word, but
fanaticism.
Yeah, they were, just like major fans.
Yeah.
Now, and I will say there are two things that you are very big fans of. One of which is Bachman Pretzels. I should give them the address to send the check for the little plug there. And the other one is James Bond films.
Correct.
So today I have a 2-part question for you.
Yeah.
Number 1, why are you such a huge fan of James Bond films? And number 2...
No, you only get one question.
No, it's a 2-parter.
Okay.
I'm a woman. I can
Breaking
have a
the
2-parter.
rules. Okay.
The second part to the question is, how would you feel if I got to be a Bond girl?
Well, I'll take the second question first. You are so hot. You are a Bond girl. That's evident.
I love you,
So
honey.
I love you more. The first part is kind of cool because when I was away at camp, I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I actually read Ian Fleming's books, Dr. No and Goldfinger. I never saw the movies, so it was the books that got me started on James Bond, and they were just fascinating. And you know, I love to read, but that just, when you're that age and you get caught up in that kind of environment where good guys versus bad guys and the hero always wins, and you know, he's very charming with the ladies, and he's got a lot of gadgets to play with, and he's in super good shape. So I'm amazed that the Bond film dynasty has lasted 50 years, just like the Rolling Stones. They're 50 years old as well. But James Bond films, I think, entertain on many levels. So it's endured. It's classic entertainment. It's evolved over the years. We've gotten a little more politically correct. You know, we in the James Bond era. And it's fun to get into conversations with people. You know, who's your favorite Bond guy? I mean, that's just if you're at a cocktail party or over at somebody's house and that comes up, man, that'll go. That gets everybody going because everyone has their favorite. So I think the Bond films offer a lot of entertainment, and it's just something that through books originally I've been drawn to over my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he is a big reader. And you know, you brought reading into our marriage, because if I wasn't married to you, I wouldn't read.
Oh.
And you're the reason that I read, and I think you're the reason that Keaton reads. Our
And
youngest,
how many
so.
times have you read the Harry Potter series?
The 4.
There you go. So
I get it. Awesome.
that question may come up later.
Thanks,
Anyway,
baby.
Take care. Love you.
If you want me to ask Tim a question or Tim to ask me a question, then please email it to timandnickchats@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page and like our YouTube videos, and please feel free to comment, and we love to hear what you have to say. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Rolling. Finish up, run.
Where's the beach?
I can't show off. Oh, it snows.
You're such an asshole.
Anyway, my question to you is,
Yes.
how did you convince me to do this thing?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
I should probably say that question.
That's actually a really good one.
Yeah.
But you didn't take much convincing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, when you're unemployed. And
You got nothing better to do.
everybody in the family goes to work, but you don't.